When Bianca Devins finally shared a kiss with a boy she had been crushing on, her friend Brandon Clark got so jealous and enraged that he slit her throat and ended her life. This is the horrific story of Bianca Devins. Buckle up, Killer Bites fans. We've got another crazy story for you. Let's get into it. Bianca Devins was born in Utica, New York on October 2nd, 2001. She grew up with two loving sisters and an abusive father who was popping in and out of her life for extended periods of time. The father really never built a strong connection with any of his three daughters. However, Bianca also had a mother who wasn't abusive. She was more present and more stable throughout Bianca's life. Bianca attended Notre Dame Junior-Senior High School. Her high school classmates described her at first as being outgoing and chatty, but as time went on, she started to become more reserved and kept to herself. But as Bianca started to develop into a young woman, she started to grow her interests in anime and drawing. At school, she struggled to fit in and really find a solid group of friends that she could relate to and be open with. She had a hard time finding like-minded people who had similar interests for her love of anime. Her mother noticed a change in her behavior, the lack of friends, and witnessing her daughter become more reserved as the days went by. Her mother decided to take Bianca to see a therapist to help her work through her troubles and help her come out of her shell. At some point in high school, Bianca's mother got divorced, which led to a serious financial struggle. She didn't have the funds to send Bianca to Notre Dame school anymore, so instead she enrolled her into a new school, the Thomas R. Proctor High School. At this new school, Bianca actually managed to fit in a bit better than at her old school. She was able to make a few friends who liked drawing and liked anime. Bianca even got a boyfriend named Derek while attending the new school. Derek really adored Bianca for who she was. He felt that he could open up and tell her anything. Both Derek and Bianca had similar chaos and family drama on a daily basis, so the two bonded over that. She expressed herself by dyeing her hair fun colors, dressing loudly, and wearing her heart on her sleeve. But then in 2017, Bianca's mother noticed that her daughter would fall into these spells of being really depressed and once again reserved. Then it was followed by a period of being super outgoing, hanging out with her friends, super talkative, and happy. It was an ongoing cycle and one that worried her mother. Little did her mother know at this time that Bianca actually had borderline personality disorder. She was exhibiting symptoms at this time, and her mother was picking up that something was wrong, but couldn't quite put her finger on what the problem was. Her mother took her to see multiple therapists to seek help, but nothing much ever came from it. The therapist would either not know what to do, not diagnose her with anything, or direct her to go and see another therapist. It was extremely difficult to watch her daughter's mental health decline and not know how to help her. During Bianca's sophomore year of high school, her mother decided to take her out of Thomas R. Proctor High School and instead enrolled her in some sort of tutoring homeschooling program. So since Bianca was at home all of the time, she didn't really get to see and interact with her friends or classmates anymore, and her boyfriend broke up at some point. This could be quite a lonely experience, being homeschooled, but Bianca made the most of it as best she could. She began to connect with others through online platforms and communities. Her go-to sites were Tumblr, Discord, Instagram, and 4chan. On these social media platforms, she was able to be fully herself while connecting with others. It actually went really well for Bianca. She found it was actually pretty easy for her to make friends online. Bianca was also enjoying her online schooling. She was hoping to graduate high school and then go off to college where she could study psychology and use her degree to help people suffering from mental illnesses. While using these social media platforms, Bianca eventually connected with a man named Brandon Andrew Clark in 2019 via Instagram. Brandon and Bianca hit it off right away and chatted online for a while before deciding to meet up in person. Bianca's mother was a little worried about the meetup at first, as any mother would. Meeting someone online is always risky. You can never tell someone's true intentions until you meet up face to face. Also, Brandon was older than Bianca. Brandon was 21, while Bianca was only 17 years old. Bianca's mother agreed that Bianca could meet up with this man, but she wanted to meet him first. And so Brandon and Bianca's mother met, and she seemed satisfied, so she let the two hang out. Bianca and Brandon met up at a park. They sat on the swings and talked for hours. It was comfortable right away, and they forged a nice friendship. Brandon did live quite a ways away from Bianca, about 50 plus minutes away, but that didn't stop him from traveling to see her often. They started hanging out and talking all the time. Bianca's mother asked her if she was dating Brandon. She asked if it was just a friendship or something more. Bianca told her mother she was not dating Brandon and saw him more as a friend. She then talked to Brandon about the nature of their relationship. She told Brandon that she did not want an intimate relationship with him or really anyone else at the time. She would be going off to college soon enough and doesn't want any sort of relationship to distract her from her studies. On top of that, she told Brandon that she really valued their friendship but saw him nothing more than a best friend. Brandon agreed with this 100%. He said he too viewed Bianca as a best friend and nothing more. So it was settled. The two carried on just being friends. Although Bianca didn't want a relationship with Brandon, she did, however, meet another guy online, Alex, who she had a crush on. Bianca had even confided in a few of her online friends that she did have a major crush on Alex. The two connected through Tumblr, Discord, and 4chan. After talking and connecting for some time, the two decided they wanted to meet up. They planned to go see a concert to see Canadian singer Nicole Dollanganger on July 13th, 2019, with Bianca's friend Brandon tagging along too. Bianca's mother was once again a little worried about allowing her daughter to go to this concert to meet up with essentially a stranger she had met online, but she found some relief in knowing that Brandon would be with her too. The family had grown a strong liking to Brandon and over time began to trust him completely. Bianca's mother thought she would be safe as long as Brandon was with her daughter. Bianca was pumped for this concert. She had never been to a concert without her mother supervising, so it was a big night for her. Plus, she was going to see one of her favorite artists with a guy she had a crush on and one of her best friends. What could go wrong? Before the concert, the three met up, Brandon, Bianca, and Alex. They had a little pre-game before the concert. They drank and smoked. At one point, Brandon left the two alone, and that's when Bianca and Alex shared a kiss. Bianca was ecstatic. After the kiss, Brandon came back in to join the other two. Bianca hopped on her phone and started chatting with one of her other online friends, telling her the news that she had finally met and kissed her crush. Soon after that, all three of them went to the concert and had a blast. It was a great time for all of them. Once the concert was over, it was time to go home. Alex parted ways from Bianca and Brandon. Brandon was giving Bianca a ride home. On the ride, Bianca decided to fill Brandon in and tell him that she and Alex had kissed. But Brandon didn't respond like Bianca thought. She had thought that Brandon would be happy for her or supportive. After all, they're friends, and friends should be happy with some news like that. But Brandon was far from happy. He started acting weird. He started playing sad music. Bianca went on her phone and continued to chat with one of her online friends, telling them that Brandon was acting strange after she told him about the kiss. Brandon and Bianca started to argue. It turns out Brandon was extremely jealous. He had in fact had feelings for Bianca after all. It seems that to Bianca's face, he had told her that they were just friends. But behind her back, he would tell his friends and others that they were a couple. With the news that Bianca had kissed someone else, Brandon was pissed and took it out on her. The argument continued as they got closer and closer to Bianca's home, and then the car fell silent. Brandon goes onto Instagram and he posts a picture with the caption, "Here comes hell. It's redemption, right?" He then changed his Insta bio from displaying the date of his birth and changing to the date of his death, the current date, followed by the text, "Just know that I feel no pain now." He then went on Facebook and posted saying, "I'm ending it all today. I'm sorry to all the family and friends that wanted me to achieve. I love you all." So Brandon was driving and posting on social media, acting like he was about to take his own life. Brandon then drove down to a dead-end road near Bianca's house that led to a wooded area where he parked his car. He managed to get Bianca out of the car and he started to assault her. One thing led to another, and before you know it, Brandon, in a rage, pulled out a big butcher's knife and slit Bianca's throat, ending her life in the early morning of July 14, 2019. He started building a bonfire close by the car while listening to the song Test Drive by Joji. Brandon proceeded to call numerous family members on the phone and prompted them to call 911. Brandon then took pictures of Bianca's lifeless body and posted them to Discord with the caption, "Sorry, you're going to have to find somebody else to orbit." Orbiting is the act of following a person online, requesting pictures to other users, and in some cases, stalking. At first, the Discord community thought the picture was a joke or some sort of prank, but after a while, they realized the gravity of the situation. The photos started to circulate the internet like wildfire. By 7 in the morning on July 14th, the Discord community had notified the police of Brandon's post. Brandon even called the police. He said, "My name is Brandon. The victim is Bianca Michelle Devins. I'm not going to stay on the phone for long because I still need to do the suicide part of the murder-suicide." The police rush to the scene where they find Bianca's lifeless body. They also find Brandon. They called an ambulance, and both Bianca and Brandon were taken to the hospital. While Bianca unfortunately didn't pull through, Brandon was able to make a full recovery from his injuries. Before the police could get in contact with Bianca's mother, Kim, she had already gotten wind of the situation. Since the photo blew up on the internet, people started reaching out to her and asking, "Is this picture of Bianca? And did this really happen?" Brandon Clark was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty to the crime on July 29th, 2019. Even though he had already told the police on the phone that he was responsible for everything. On February 10th, 2020, Brandon had changed his answer and decided to plead guilty.
It's never been enough. It's never been adequate. I felt to really convey my emotions and to apologize. How do you meaningfully apologize for doing something so horrible, so irreversible? And that's the worst part, is that I can't take it back. I want to. I wish I could. I would give my life a heartbeat to Bianca if I could. And I can't. Every day I wake up and I wonder how she would have spent that day if she were still here.
His sentencing was scheduled for April 7th, but was unfortunately delayed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. On June 2nd, he filed a notice to withdraw his guilty plea, claiming his lawyer had totally failed him. He was denied because he had now already admitted to being guilty twice. The hearing finally took place on September 30th, and a decision was reached on October 30th. On March 16, 2021, Brandon Clark was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Bianca's mother, Kim Devins, and the rest of her family are still trying to recover from this horrible loss. Kim Devins has spoken out and said, "I want Bianca to be remembered for her smile, for her bright spirit, for her huge, caring heart.
Worst of all, there are no more hugs, kisses, and I love yous and the sweet sound of Bianca's voice."
Bianca always wanted to help someone. Even in her worst struggles, when she couldn't help herself, she helped others. Bianca's name will long be remembered. She was taken far too soon, but she will not be forgotten. Hug the ones you love extra tight and let people know that you love them. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Killer Bites. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next episode.